What's up? Alrighty. I'm the inspector, and here is my review of X-Men Apocalypse. And when I say review, I'll put that mildly. This is really just my overall opinion of it, due to the fact that usually when I do reviews, they're usually spoiler free. But it's been a whopping 2 weeks since going on three since the movie came out in theaters, and I have did a review as soon as the movie came out, but nah, I didn't really like it, and I was too lazy to edit it. So here is just my overall opinion of the movie. And this is not really for people who saw the movie, but more towards people who haven't seen it and just wondering whether it's worth it due to the fact they were either too busy or too preoccupied with life to see it when it was new. Now I know this is a little bit late than never, and technically, if I was going to review a movie, I should do Ninja Turtles, but nah, fuck all that noise. I really wasn't a fan of the first one, and I doubt I'll like the second one, but you guys tell me whether it's good or not. Alright, without further ado, let's do X-Men Apocalypse. Now, after the up and down roller coaster, which has been superhero movies of this year, starting off with the peak of Deadpool with the spectacular shit sandwich that was Batman v Superman. I mean, what the fuck, Warner Brothers? With the all time great movie that was Civil War. Apocalypse shows up and it goes kind of in the middle of being extremely awesome to, I would say, mildly mediocre. It kind of flirts with that line. It's not a bad movie at all, but it just didn't give us that oomph that we readily enjoy. And coming from this franchise, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Honestly, at this point when it comes to X-Men movies, you just don't want them to completely suck, since we already have examples of X-Men movies completely sucking. X3. Wolverine Origins. Oh, and I'm not even gonna call for this one. The Wolverine. I'm so sick and tired of motherfuckers telling me that the Wolverine was actually a good movie. In what fucking universe was it a good movie? Was it better than Origins? Yeah. Was it better than X3? Yeah. I'd rather watch the Wolverine over X3. But as far as a solo Wolverine movie, they still didn't give us what we so desperately needed. A bomb movie from our favorite X-Men character. They gave us some bullshit where they butchered one of my favorite stories with Wolverine in Japan, butchered one of my favorite Wolverine villains, the Silver Samurai, and had the audacity to tell me that it was worth it just because they gave us a little cameo for the Days of Future Past in the ending credits. Ugh. So as far as Apocalypse is concerned, this was actually not a bad movie considering the other shit. Now let's not compare it to the MCU because the MCU doesn't even have rights to the X-Men. In a perfect world, they would though. They really, really, really would. But let's move on to this one. Now I have to give you a little bit of the story first, because a little bit of the story, you know, Apocalypse being some ancient deity, sorry, he got betrayed by his subjects and went through a 4,000 year nap. Meanwhile, the young X-Men show up trying to live life, and Apocalypse shows up and he's a new great threat and they have to stop him. Pretty much the story in a nutshell. It's a little gets more in depth than that, but I really can't say too much about this, cut and paste story that Bryan Singer is known for when it comes to making these X-Men movies. Now, some of my favorite parts of the movie, where the movie actually works, like, I still enjoy Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique, even though I really can't say I enjoy Rebecca Romijn's versions of Mystique due to the fact that she only got like one or two lines, probably like three lines in the whole fucking trilogy, in the original trilogy, I might add. Including the fourth in First Class. So I would say Jennifer Lawrence is a better acting Mystique. Now, the dude who plays Magneto, playing Magneto this time around, I still enjoy him. But the thing is, unlike the previous X-Men movies, he was really reduced to a henchman, a sidekick. But due to the fact this motherfucker is a great actor, of course, he blew that shit right out the water. Even though his story of him trying to lead a normal life, having a family, and then his family getting killed, thus motivating him to become one of the Four Horsemen, was not really epic. I really thought that the writers could have done a better job with that. If nothing else, leave the daughter alive. Because I really wanted to see, even though they didn't give me the right daughter, I really hope he has another kid. They really didn't get the daughter with magnetic powers that I saw in Wolverine and the X-Men cartoons. That's what I really wanted, but they didn't give that to me, so they just killed her off. So, fine, fuck it. And let's see. McAvoy coming back as Professor Xavier. Here's my personal opinion. Patrick Stewart was Professor Xavier, okay? Patrick Stewart, as far as ripping characters straight out of the comic book, which by my meaning of that is they read a comic book and found an actor who looks and can act just like the comic book counterpart, I would say Patrick Stewart is one of those actors. I wouldn't even give that to fucking Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine. Well, he was a great Wolverine. I can't imagine anybody else playing Wolverine. But as far as being ripped straight from the comic books, I really think you need to put your fanboy boner down a notch because you're not hitting the nail on the head with this one. If anything, I would say Hugh Jackman is just a great Wolverine, but not perfect by any means. Can they do better? Probably not. He shouldn't have played a great Wolverine. I don't know why he refuses. He's saying he's not going to cease doing the role. I'm sorry, but we're not done with you yet. We haven't got our great X-Men movie out of you yet. We've had good X-Men movies and great X-Men movies, but we haven't gotten the swan song. You do the swan song, Hugh Jackman, and Will's have you cease doing these X-Men movies. You can stop playing the role when this franchise dies and needs a reboot. Period. But going back on, I digress a little bit, but going back onto the story, honestly, another one of my favorite things, I did like their portrayal of young Nightcrawler. I did love that. Pretty much not too much to say about it. I mean, his acting was subpar, only due to the fact he didn't get that much lines. All he really did was just look like Nightcrawler and teleport a lot. And going to another one of my favorites, pretty much everybody's favorite, the Quicksilver scene that they did. It's really a toss-up whether this was better than the Quicksilver scene from Days of Future Past, but it was pretty good. And Sweet Dreams playing in the background was fucking genius, my nigga. Just genius. That shit had me jump up off the edge of my seat. And probably another, I would say probably one of the final things that I absolutely loved about this movie was the actor who played Apocalypse. Name escapes me at the moment. Please feel free to slap me when you see me for forgetting him. But I fucking loved him. I fucking love Poe Dameron as fucking the Apocalypse, honestly. Did I love his look? By all means, no. Did I love the Apocalypse's powers? Yes, he was overpowered in the comic books. And he just seemed overpowered for these X-Men in this movie. But he still played it off. And you know what I love about the X-Men movies? It's not the visual effects or the action scenes or even the stories. I love the actors and their speeches or one-liners. greatest thing I loved about X1 and X2 was Magneto playing the villain. And probably one of my favorite scenes from the original is when he locked up Senator Kelly and gave him that whole speech on whether he was a God-fearing man or not. That was my all-time favorite scene of the first movie. My all-time favorite scenes of the second movie was anytime the actor who played Magneto spoke, really. Especially that scene where we were talking to Pyro and told him that he was a god among insects. Don't let nobody tell you different. Oh my god, that shit gave me the geek boner right there. And I was just like, oh man, I'm just gonna fall in love with you. You may not look like Magneto I want, but you are the Magneto that I need at this point in my life. That's one of the things that bombed on X3. There was no good one-liners. I mean, Magneto was reduced from a Malcolm X with mutant powers to a Hitler with mutant powers, and I don't remember Hitler being insightful, and Magneto damn sure wasn't insightful in that fucking movie. And there was no great villains in the Wolverine movie or in Origins movie or in Wolverine. But the actor who picked up the mantle of the Apocalypse, I'm sorry, gotta edit that out. The actor who picked up the mantle of Magneto, yeah, yeah, that dude really can act, and those speeches and one-liners I did love. Like in X-Men First Class when he was playing a chess game with Charles and they had the little debate on what they should do after the world finds out about mutants. And in Days of Future Past when he had the president held hostage and he was explaining to the world why you motherfuckers can't fuck with us mutants. So don't even fucking try. But he had no such lines in this movie, but Apocalypse did. And two of my favorite ones is the scene from the trailer. You know, from the ashes of their world, we shall build a better one. Or my absolute favorite line. My absolute favorite line from the whole movie is when Apocalypse took over Charles Xavier's mind. When Charles Xavier used Cerebro, and he used Charles Xavier to control the minds of all the humans with, access to nuclear weapons and fire all the nukes up in the sky and detonated them and said they can strike their arrows from the Tower of Babel. I'm sorry, damn it, edit that out too. They can fire their arrows from the Tower of Babel, but they will never strike God. I was like, oh my God, I love you so much. And that's why I loved about Apocalypse, was the acting. What they lack for in visual effects and even the looks, for the reception of Charles Xavier, they make up for with good acting. Now let's go with the things that keep this movie from being greater than Civil War. First and foremost, and probably the most important point, it is still a prequel sequel. And I don't know if any of y'all were paying attention, but at the end of X-Men Days of Future Past, did Wolverine wake up in the future or present time to him just see everything was fixed and all the shit that happened in X3 was no longer relevant? And all of our characters that were killed off in X3, thank you Brett Ratner for almost shitting on the franchise, was actually fixed. So them having a battle with Apocalypse in the 1980s, really, that just undermined the stakes. It was just like, I just felt like Riley in fucking Boondocks. Like towards the middle of the movie. After that scene where I was just thinking to myself, man, damn, we all know the nigga go in and let's wrap it up. Shit. Even though I did enjoy a lot of the things about it, that's how I ultimately felt before they brought me back with a cool scene, such as Quicksilver fighting the Apocalypse. I actually did love that scene. I was thinking to myself, Warner Brothers, you should take notes when the Flash fights Darkseid in your attempt at a Justice League movie, which pretty much Warner Brothers fucked that up. Because they have a history of fucking up their own movies. But anyways, I digress. But another thing what kept the movie, but that's the movie thing that kept the movie subpar. Another thing that kept the movie subpar to me was Sophie Turner's Phoenix. Now, don't get me wrong, I fucking love Sophie Turner. I am the biggest fan of Game of Thrones. Yes, and one of those big fans that haven't read a single fucking book, but watched all of the seasons of Game of Thrones twice. And still watching it now. One of my favorite shows on TV. And I love Sophie Turner playing Sansa Stark, but her playing Jean Grey, not so great. I couldn't help but notice that she hasn't really mastered the American accent, so she was really trying to keep that down. She's done better than other actors. For example, Richard Cox playing Daredevil. It we could still hear the Irish accent in the first season of Daredevil. He's just a great actor, so we didn't care. But her acting in here wasn't so great to where we didn't notice. Not saying that she let it slip, but you can tell she was really, really, really trying. It's probably the reason why she didn't get that many lines in this movie. She got a lot, but just not that many. And her little Phoenix Force at the end of the movie, pretty much too little too late. But I'm not going to rag on it too much because it was pretty much Bryan Singer saying, that's what we tried to do. That's what we wanted to do in X3. I'm sorry that I didn't do X3 in favor of Superman. Why the fuck did you do that? But that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wish Brett Ratner would have done. But Brett Ratner, this is how it's done. This is how you do the Phoenix Force, okay? And that was pretty cool. Even though in hindsight, after watching the movie twice, I pretty much did notice all the bitch really did was just walk up and scream. It was the visual effects that got us. And the visual effects is not really, that's part of the reason why I watch these movies, but not the main reason. If you wanted good visual effects, could add a bit of a fight scene. Just a little bit of a fight scene, or at least him throwing Apocalypse somewhere. Honestly, she just served as a distraction for Magneto to, ultimately kill. Maybe I need to see a movie again. Maybe I need to see the movie again and y'all can tell me, but I don't think he really killed Apocalypse. If anything, he just weakened him. Because before motherfuckers say like, oh, he definitely killed him, I want y'all to think about this. Doesn't Apocalypse have a healing factor? I mean, the mutant that he absorbed 4,000 years ago had a healing factor. That's why he took over his body. So, didn't he have a healing factor? If anything, didn't they just slow him down? I hope they did. I hope the Apocalypse comes back in another movie. Not the next movie, though. Don't give me the same recycled character twice. Give us Sinister, like you hinted towards, and please, God, don't fuck him up. And another thing that was also kept it from being a great movie. Another reason I put this here is because it was a surprise, but not so much that it would make the movie great. This was really just fan service, and I recognize fan service a mile away, was Hugh Jackman being in this movie. After they already hinted towards him in the trailer, they shouldn't even done that. That probably would have set it up a couple more notches, but they kind of hinted towards him. But I'm glad that Hugh Jackman was in it as the mindless Weapon X, just going on a rampage, killing up folks. And honestly, I would say that's pretty good. I mean, hell, they even gave us blood. And going back to seeing the other movies, I don't remember too much blood coming from Wolverine when he was hack motherfuckers to pieces. This is why I hope the next Wolverine movie is rated R. I mean, can they just learn their own lesson that a rated R comic book movie done right can be monumentally good? I mean, shit. Deadpool did it with like $50 of budget. Dang. So, anyways, another thing that kept the movie pretty much subpar was. No, I think that's the end of my list. Now let's go over the 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, or I really didn't keep count on this, on things I hated about this fucking movie. And one thing I really, really, really hated pretty much was them killing off Havoc. I was just like, holy shit, no, 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 no. The whole brotherly feud between between Cyclops and Havoc, that's one of the things I wanted to see. Even though y'all ain't tell the story right, but y'all are known for telling the next man's story right, so fuck it, have at it. Let Havoc be the older brother and Cyclops be the younger brother. I don't fucking care. Just give me more Havoc, since you kind of hinted towards him in the last movie and really didn't do him all that much justice in First Class. I thought, hell, him control his powers without any device? Please give me more of that. But then, they fuck around and killed him off. Or they didn't. Honestly, I think what they should do for the second movie, besides give us Sinister, if they want to give us Next Man Swan Song, which will have Apocalypse, not only should they do Patrick Stewart's X-Men, but they should do the Shi'ar Empire, and they should definitely, definitely, definitely have Cyclops' dad being one of those space pirates. And if they really want to get my geekdom in a fix, tell a story on how when he blew up that X-Jet after Professor X was captured by Apocalypse, after he blew up the X-Jet and basically blew up the whole fucking house, have one of the mutant or superpower pirates, freeze time and save Havoc. And then bring him on to that little ship. That would be kind of good, and I hope they really, really do it. Honestly, please, don't tell me you killed off Havoc. Bring back Havoc, or this movie is gonna go down, in my opinion, from being an awesome movie to just a great movie. But I'm still holding on high hopes there. And another thing I didn't like was Apocalypse lackluster powers. It really just seemed like, besides enhancing mutants, he really just had the ability to suck people into a fucking wall. And that's it. Or suck people into the ground, and that was pretty much it. Oh, and the power to teleport. But other than that, he really didn't seem like he was a threat, just not the monumental threat that he was from the comics. And another thing that I absolutely hated was some leftover cameos, like Jubilee being in the movie. I'm like, didn't y'all already do a Jubilee cameo in the first fucking movie? The fuck, man. Move past me with that shit. I never was a big Jubilee fan, and I probably never will be a big Jubilee fan. She was pretty much just the kid with adults in the comic books and TV shows, period. But my final summary of the movie, because that's pretty much all I had. Oh, damn it. Don't like the actor who plays Stryker. I just don't. There's a reason why this motherfucker didn't get any lines in the last motherfucking movie, because this motherfucker can barely fucking act. Bring back the old dude to play Stryker the first time in X2. He was pretty much the best one to do it. As a matter of fact, if there's any good attributes of Wolverine Origins, it was the man who played Stryker in that one. He wasn't all that bad. He just didn't try as hard as he wanted to. But this guy, fucking filler. Oh my god. I didn't enjoy it, and I don't expect anybody else to. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Oh, and another thing I hated about the movie, one last thing, just one, was the fact that they pretty much hinted towards that this cast of X-Men will be the cast of X-Men in future movies. Even though I did see little clips of the next Wolverine movie, and I did see Patrick Stewart. Please, Patrick, please come back as Professor X. We miss you. If we want McAvoy to play Professor X, let him do it in flashbacks, man. As far as playing a young Professor X, yeah, but as him being the Professor X, please, God, no. Good, not Patrick Stewart good. I'm just sorry. and them doing over that line from X1. I had a love-hate relationship with that, but I'm gonna say I mostly didn't like it because Patrick Stewart and the other Magneto did it better. You know that line. Like, what happens when they come for you and your children? Does it ever wake you up at night? It does indeed. What do when you wake up to that? I feel a great swell of pity for the poor soul who comes to my school looking for trouble. And I was like, ugh. Roll my eyes a little bit. I was just like, thanks for giving me a line that I already know. But all in all, final summary, this movie is recommended. Not highly recommended, not slightly recommended, not recommended at all, but just completely recommended. It just went the straight line of being good, not great, not horrible, in my personal opinion. I liked it, borderline love, but as far as it being better than Civil War, no. Or it being better than Deadpool with a big, even though they had the bigger budget, no. But it was better than Days of Future Past. Never do that shit again, Warner Brothers. But y'all scheduled for a Just Sleep movie in the future, so y'all probably will do it again. And that's pretty much it. Go out and watch the movie now. Even though I gave you a few spoilers, even I gave you the spoilers at the end. I didn't even tell my mom that when I was talking to her about the movie earlier. But still go out and see the movie. It's still something good to watch. Good date for your girlfriend. Or if she's a comic book fan, good date for your boyfriend. But just don't expect it to be better than Civil War. And you do expect it to be better than Civil War. Pretty much says a lot about your taste. Well, that's it. This was The Inspector. And as always,